Maritime crimes at the Gulf of Guinea. More security presence advocated.
I beseech member states of the Gulf of Guinea Commission to show more political commitment at the highest level of government to address these maritime security issues.
Race to National Assembly leadership heightens. Past and present members meet President-elect.
The party leadership will not allow rancor. They will have to sit down and announce the zoning.
Plus, malaria still a great health burden as experts highlight dangers.
More than ever, we must collaborate to ensure that no child or person dies of malaria.
Hello and warm welcome to NTA Network News at 9. I'm Henry John and we're live in Abuja. Adela Komiakere joins me from Lagos. Thank you for joining us. President Buhari has stressed the necessity for member countries of the Gulf of Guinea Commission to remain alive to their responsibilities by making the organization a pride of place and worthy of the high ideals it was established for. He said the realization of the aspirations of the Commission does not only define what they stand for, but what the region can always collectively achieve. This was at the third extraordinary session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the Gulf of Guinea Commission in Accra, Ghana. State House correspondent Adam Musambo reports.
The session convened by the chairman of the commission and president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, had as its theme building a safe, secure and prosperous Gulf of Guinea region for sustainable development. Discussions centered on strategies for strengthening peace and security in the fight against maritime-related crimes in the region, as well as the expansion of membership to include all the 19 coastal states of the geopolitical area.
I beseech member states of the Gulf of Guinea Commission to show more political commitment at the highest level of government to address these maritime security issues, to help curtail and eradicate the menace caused by these acts of criminality in the region, so as to build a safe, secure, and prosperous Gulf of Guinea region for sustainable development for our people.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who addressed participants at the closed session, made a strong case for collective search and actions aimed at addressing the challenges of maritime security and other irritants undermining efforts at maximizing the economic potentials of the region. Nigeria, he said, had championed several efforts, including fighting maritime insecurity in the Gulf of Guinea through the deployment of significant resources, including the unveiling of $195 million worth of boats, vehicles and aircraft to spearhead the country's fight against piracy through the Deep Blue Project. Nigeria's National Assembly, he also explained, passed the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Act 2019 to prevent and suppress piracy, armed robbery and any other unlawful acts against any ship operating in the Gulf region. The President encouraged every member country to do same in order to enhance their collective security. During the event, the newly appointed Executive Secretary of the Gulf of Guinea Commission, Joseph Mba Abeso of Equatorial Guinea, and other committee members were sworn in.
I am not going to let you down.
Before leaving Accra, President Muhammadu Buhari held bilateral talks with his counterpart from Equatorial Guinea, Obiang Nguema Basogo, but details of their discussions were not disclosed. Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Now heading to Sudan, Sudanese at the moment are experiencing the most difficult phase of their lives with the death and heavy shelling caused by two powerful generals who were once allies. Charles Alpha tells us more.
The clashes in Sudan are between the Sudanese armed forces led by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and the Rapid Support Forces paramilitary group led by General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo. The leaders of the two forces were allies. They worked together in 2019 to overthrow Sudan's brutal dictator Omar al-Bashir, who ruled over the country for 3 decades sweeping the power as thousands of people took to the streets in a popular uprising against al-Bashir. After that coup, a power-sharing government was formed, made up of civilian and military groups. The plan was for it to run Sudan for a few months in 2021. Al-Burhan, who had become the chief of the power-sharing council, dissolved it, declaring he would instead hold election in 2023. The current fighting broke out between the army and the RSF as a result of negotiation breaking down over integrating the two forces ahead of the intended restoration of civilian rule. There was disagreement over which general would be subordinate to the other and how quickly the RSF would be incorporated into the Sudanese military.
We have General Burhan and General Hemeti fighting for power while we fight to find food and water. They're fighting for authority over our country and people while we fight for education and health services.
Heavy fighting broke out across the country on April 8, with Sudan's capital city of Khartoum and neighboring Omdurman being turned into a battlefield. People are running low on food, cash, water, as they struggle to flee Khartoum to neighboring African countries and other parts of the world. Charles, Alpha, NTA News.
And still on the crisis in Sudan, especially with efforts in evacuating Nigerians from the war-torn country, the Director of Special Duties, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Onimode Bandele, spoke with Ruth Agwele on the agency's critical role and commitment in bringing home Nigerians from Sudan.
Nigerian students and other members of the Nigerian community stranded in the ongoing crisis, in Sudan, happening between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces. Well, the federal government has given go-ahead for immediate evacuation of the stranded students caught up in that crisis. We have a guest joined us now to talk on the evacuation operations, to know how far so far and what is going to happen. We have Mr. Onimode Bandele. He's the Director of Special Duties from the National Emergency Management Agency. Thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you're to lead Nigeria's evacuation operation. So, when is the evacuation operation going to kick off?
Evacuation is a process. It doesn't just start in one day. As I speak to you, my DG has been in Egypt since Friday, coordinating this process between the Embassy of Nigeria in Khartoum and that of Egypt. I can tell you emphatically about this afternoon, buses have been mobilized, monies have been paid, and the exercise, the movement of the students and other Nigerians expected to commence as soon as all the buses are loaded.
You talked about the buses that are already in place, but what is the preliminary arrangement on ground? Are they going to, move in batches, or how is that going to happen?
At the beginning of this exercise, we had a working figure of 5,000 nationals, not just students.
Okay.
But as at yesterday, when the information was sent out to every Nigerian national, especially our students that want to evacuate, we're looking at a figure of 3,500. And these have been provided for by way of bus hire, and adequate security are in place to escort this convoy from Khartoum to the Egyptian border, where arrangements have been made with the assistance of His Excellency Nigerian Ambassador to Egypt, Ambassador Rimi, to ensure safe arrival of these returnees to a town called Aswan, where the airlift of Nigerians are expected to take place back to Abuja, the federal capital.
This is a very complex and delicate situation, talking about the evacuation operation. What is the level of, arrangement that has been done between the Nigerian government and the Sudanese there, talking about the embassy there? Now, for not just for the students, the people there, Nigerians who are stranded, who would like to be, to be part of this movement, do they have any form of access to information to know, okay, they have to get to that place? Because there's been concern that Nigerians who are stranded stranded there should just remain in their various designation so that they don't get caught up in the crisis?
Yeah, they were asked to remain in their various locations because at that time the situation was bad. Don't forget, anywhere you find Nigerians, there will be Association of Nigeria. So they have leadership, and this leadership are in constant communication with the embassy. That is Nigerian government in Khartoum. So with that, we are believing wherever they are, the embassy will be able to get across to them for them to indicate if they want to be part of the evacuation.
Okay, what about parents who are worried here in Nigeria? What sense of encouragement, are you going to be giving them? Because people are worried.
Well, we are parents, all of us. We are concerned about the unfortunate situation. And like I keep telling colleagues that have asked me questions that, look, keep praying for us. The Nigerian government is not mindful of the pain our children are going through, but the government, through the two embassies in Khartoum and Egypt, are doing their very best to ensure that all our students return back to this country in safety.
The destination, the first destination they are going to arrive, what kind of arrangement is in place for them there before they are moved down to Nigeria?
The embassy in Egypt, working closely with the government of Egypt, has provided even medical personnel to be on ground to welcome these Nigerian nationals when they arrive. Talking about even their meal, the government is in, the embassy have arranged with the Minister of Social Welfare there to get this food ready. However, Nigerian government will pay for this food as they arrive and they consume the meal.
What about provision for where they're going to stay in the meantime, aside the provision of medicals and also food?
We don't expect the holding time to be too long.
What's the time frame you're given?
I cannot give you a time frame now because we are working in conjunction with the people who will be on transit with these buses. So as they move, they will communicate with us. As I speak to you, we've been able to alert ARPs to please activate their process so that these students and Nigerian nationals don't get to Aswan and wait unnecessarily. I want you to give Nigerians, critical assurance that yes, this set of Nigerians that will be evacuated will be really safe, as they proceed from Sudan. The Nigerian government didn't rush into Sudan to bring out their national because of security concerns. So our expectation from Nigerians is please pray for us, continue to be with us in good spirit, and I'm very sure that the government in place will not disappoint us in the course of this exercise. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Onimode Bandele, Director of Special Duties with the National Emergency Management Agency. We wish you the very best, and we hope this whole process goes well. Well done. Amen. Thank you very much for having me, and have a great day ahead. You too. Bye.
All right, the Ministries of Foreign Affairs and Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development have expressed concern over the situation in Sudan through the ministers. The federal government has published emergency numbers for stranded Nigerians, and a joint statement by Jeffrey Onyama and Sadia Farouk urged parents to advise their wards to be calm as concerted efforts are being made to evacuate all Nigerians stranded in Sudan. Nigerian students are also advised to maintain constant communication with the Nigerian embassy in Sudan for further directives. Furthermore, the statement also advised all Nigerian nationals to guard against undertaking the treacherous journey to the borders on their own in view of the dangers involved. Nigerian embassy officials can be reached through the numbers on the screen. And away from Sudan now, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo continues his strong advocacy for a just energy transition for Africa and the developing world, stressing that the issue of energy poverty has to be tackled headlong and reflected in the global energy transition conversations in order for African countries to attain middle-income status, as well as societal and individual prosperity for its people. State House correspondent Dido Onifade reports.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and his entourage arriving at the University of Pennsylvania at the invitation of the university, celebrating 50 years of black studies at the university.
The energy transition in Africa.
The Vice President's speech centers around climate change and a just energy transition, stressing the need to allow African countries fashioned out modest ways of combating climate change.
Having recognized the fact that global zero carbon ambitions cannot be realized without intentional carbon removal technologies and practices, Africa can actually ramp up her own potential to remove carbon at scale through a combination of planned land use and ecosystem management and the engineered removal technologies.
He explains how it is important to turn around challenges to opportunity.
The straight answer is that there does not seem to be a pathway. There isn't a pathway for Africa to provide for its populations, provide well-paying jobs, provide opportunities, etc., if we stay within the globally agreed constraints.
At a panel discussion, the Vice President spoke on the achievements of the administration and the development of critical infrastructure.
Africa, in many ways, has not been treated fairly in conversations. Often, this treatment is a result of simply not understanding Africa.
In the words of an elder statesman, changes are only effected by a critical mass of reform-minded people who are at work. It's all about Africa and the survival of its people. In Philadelphia, USA, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Many thanks, Jide. A break is due now, but it's important to mention that Tuesday Live tonight will discuss the role of traditional rulers in nation building, featuring the Ooni of Ife, Etunupe, Emir of Zebzo, Eze Eweka III, Emir of Lafia, and Igberi Emeri Okuri of Eleme Kingdom. Join us to listen to the wisdom of these custodians of our culture and heritage. And that's on Tuesday Live tonight. Let's take Lai Mohammed says Nigeria is committed to providing Indian investors all the requirements to guarantee and safeguard their investments in the country. The minister stated this when he granted audience to the Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria in his office. Anthony Forson reports.
Applauding the cordial relation between both countries dating back 1958, the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed said the bond between Nigeria and India has helped in diverse ways.
The unique thing to me about India and Nigeria is that the people of India and the people of Nigeria have gone ahead of their various governments to interact, to integrate, to do business, and to even exchange cultural activities.
He equally canvassed for stronger ties in other areas.
In particular, I want us to bring to fruition the project we started with our counterparts, especially in the creative industry. The idea, we had meetings with Bollywood producers, Bollywood actors, Bollywood promoters, and we tried to link them up with Nigerian Nollywood promoters, Nollywood producers, Nollywood actors, and also in the music industry, because this is one area I believe that Nigeria and India, we have a relative, advantage.
Earlier, the Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria spoke glowingly about Nigeria, giving assurances of better days ahead.
We do have good relationship, and the Bollywood, Nollywood, I'm sure, Excellency, as you are aware, there's a lot that we can do, not only in terms of joint production, but also in terms of exchange of views and other things. In Bollywood, as you know, is the largest film producers in the world. We produce more than 1,000 movies a year. And Nollywood is also very strong. Postcard from India with all Nigerian actors and actresses, along with Indian actors, actresses.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
As the race for the Senate presidency for the 10th Assembly continues to hot up, some APC senators say they will respect the decision of the party in deciding the leadership positions of the Senate. The senators and some past ones who visited the president-elect Bola Tinubu at his residence in Abuja spoke to newsmen and believe zoning will play a key role in selection of the principal officers of the Senate.
It's very, very necessary that if we have to have a stable government, a very peaceful separation of powers, we also have to consider what the Constitution says about giving everybody a sense of belonging.
You have a vice president from the north, and we believe that with the scenario we have, it's automatic that the Senate president will come from this house. And I'm sure that the party leadership will not allow rancor. They will have to sit down and announce the zoning. Identify credible candidates. We already have candidates.
I believe that when it finally comes out, it will be acceptable to Nigerians. That's the most important thing. Inclusiveness is all we are looking for.
One of the top contenders for the Senate presidency, Senator Godswill Akpabio, says experience and capacity should also be considered in the selection.
The issue of Senate presidency is a function of the senators, and particularly all the senators-elect, including those who are returning, and they are all my colleagues. I've had the privilege of serving the Senate before as a minority leader, and so any senator should be ready, if his colleagues so wish, to avail himself to be used as a Senate president. So the chances for somebody like me will be very high because of the fact that my colleagues already know my track record.
Musbah Dan Wahab reports that other party bigwigs, including the APC national chairman Abdullahi Adamu, also visited the president-elect, who returned to the country on Monday after his post-election break. Away from politics now, let's talk health. Today is World Malaria Day, and Nigeria is redoubling effort through interventions in the fight against malaria scourge, especially among underserved population. Sawa Khalil Ibrahim reports that development partners at an event in Abuja promised to intensify support to end malaria in Nigeria.
That flying insect that knows no age or gender strikes at any given opportunity. They are mosquitoes. They are the carriers of malaria parasites, which cause malaria that has taken many lives, from a day-old baby, pregnant women, and adults, with Nigeria accounting for the highest mortality rate from malaria, according to WHO.
Over the years, we have seen some encouraging signs of progress in some malaria interventions. However, the recent World Malaria Report calls for a redoubling of efforts by all, and especially the private sector, to complement what government and donor agencies are putting in.
Fighting malaria is not only the right thing to do, it's a smart investment to protect public health, create economic opportunities, foster growth and security within a thriving Nigeria.
More than ever, we must collaborate to ensure that no child or person dies of malaria or loses another day to the debilitating illness again.
Nigeria has been devising different means to fight and end the scourge. Though the war is not yet won, there seems to be a ray of hope with the approval of a vaccine against malaria.
We are anticipating that Nigeria is also going to be in the first 4 clinical trials of the vaccine to fight the scourge of malaria in Nigeria.
With the partnership between Nigeria and development partners, there is hope that the country will soon deliver zero malaria. Salwa Kale, NTA News.
To other issues now, Star Times has commenced auditions for its dating reality show. Hello, Mr. Wright. Port Harcourt's Season 2 audition. Gabriel Amunike reports that the audition had over 20 participants, mainly young adults searching for the right partner.
Mr. Wright is our thrilling dating game show, which debuted 7 years ago, sponsored and organized by Star Times. The game show follows the journey of eligible singles as they search for the perfect partner or aim to start a loving relationship. Organizers and judges say participants will thoroughly examine their potential love interests with the intention of forming a perfect couple through their many couple goals and games. 20 million naira worth of prizes is up for grabs for winners.
After this audition, the selected ones will now be channeled to Lagos for the main event cover. And of course, they have prizes to be won, a combination of 20 million naira to be won as that prize.
The whole essence of it is to help those in search of love find love, and possibly, if love will help them get married.
NTA News captured the excitement as the first set of contestants experienced a breathtaking journey to finding a match or partner.
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel?
I feel good. So me, it was more like an everyday interrogation with people.
I came all the way from Bayelsa State, and I'm here making Bayelsa proud. Say yes, going down.
Focusing on the world of modern dating, viewers can cheer on and vote for their favorite contestants, looking out to see if they can find true love. Gabriel Amunike, NTA News.
Let's now talk security, as the Nigerian Army is set to present national and regimental colors to newly established and operationalized combat units known as the Trooping and Presentation of Colors Parade. In a news conference in Abuja, the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, says 81 units will be participating in the parade, as 53 colors will be due for retirement. He noted that colors are usually retired after 10 years of service, as most of the colors in the Army have been involved in multiple internal operations and peacekeeping missions in different foreign countries. Hence, the need to retire and present new colors.
Will be consecrated and presented to deserving units and regiments by the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic.
The event, which will be holding at the Eagle Square, will witness road diversion within the metropolis.
Traffic lights by Millennium Park, as well as traffic lights at the road junction from Ministry of Finance towards the Eagle Square. Commuters are therefore advised to use alternative routes.
Trooping and Presentation of Colors Parade for the Nigerian Army units was last conducted in 2007. Meanwhile, Ebonyi State Police Command has arrested 2 suspected kidnappers, while one was gunned down during an exchange of gunfire with the police tactical squad. According to the statement issued by Police Public Relations Officer, PPRO, SP Onome Onovuekpo Rieye, the kidnappers were intercepted at Undofia Isieke and Edupfu Egbu Isieke in Ebonyi local government area of the state, while their victim, a clergyman, was rescued. She explained that 3 rifles, 2 cars were among items recovered from the suspects. The statement further adds that Commissioner of Police Faleye Olaleye also used the opportunity to warn criminals to lay down their arms or leave the state, as the police and other sister agencies have teamed up to rid the state of all criminal elements. Similarly, the Police Service Commission has approved the appointment and deployment of 12 commissioners of police. In a statement, Chairman of the Commission, Solomon Arase, called for greater dedication to national duty from the new commissioners and reminded them that the posting comes with a lot of commitment, innovation, and loyalty to the country. Now, looking at education, the 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination began today with more than 1.5 million candidates registered to sit for it. Olayinka Ojo, who monitored the takeoff in some centers across the FCT, reports.
You will recall that the 2023 UTME mock exercise had few hitches in some centers, prompting the board to reschedule for such centers. It was attributed to the deployment of innovations.
Because those things we wanted to test, we have seen what they were, and we went back and made sure everything worked, and it's working.
Now, having dotted the lines and crossed the T's, it is time to fully put these innovations by JAMB to proper test. A visit to some CBT centers in Abuja, where candidates had 2 hours to convince the examiner, shows a hitch-free exercise, as attested by Obinna Amako, who also participated during the mock exercise.
The only difference is that the mock examination, we didn't start on time, but the main examination was there on time. There were no hitches.
The examination was okay and I finished before time, cross-checked my work and submitted.
Right now, the software will work, everything is moving smoothly.
Although the exercise was seamless, but a peculiar act of absenteeism was noticed.
In a center where you are having 200 candidates, I mean, you are having as high as 22 absenteeism. I really don't know what is causing it.
A total of 708 computer-based test centers are participating in this year's UTME exercise, expected to end on May 3rd, 2023, while 18 CBT centers in 9 states were delisted for various infractions. Olayinka Ujo, NTA News.
Many thanks, Olayinka. Let's now find out how the exam went in Lagos. Adiola will give us that information. Adiola.
Thank you, Henry. It was seamless in Lagos. The first day of the 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination conducted by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB in Lagos was seamless as the exercise commences nationwide. A reporter who monitored the computer-based test reports that the candidates are hopeful that the remaining days of the exam will also be smooth.
No fewer than 1.5 million candidates who registered for the 2023 Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examinations UTME are seated for the examination, with Lagos having the highest number. Over 60 centers have been approved for the computer-based examination in the state. At some centers visited, the turnout was impressive and verification of candidates was ongoing.
I've been preparing for a while now and I think I can make it.
I will make sure I make good grades by the grace of God.
I hope that the systems will be working very well so that she'll be able to answer the questions and finish and be able to also get her results. The mock experience wasn't so good.
Some of the candidates who already wrote the examination expressed confidence in the process. 750 candidates are scheduled daily for the examination conducted in 3 batches in each center. JAMB believes that this year's exercise will be hitch-free.
The Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, is charting a new course towards reinventing its core mandate and actualizing programs and policies geared towards sustainable development of the region. Michael Olaleye reports that at the foundation of the implementation strategy, the Commission sees private organizations as partners in progress in its efforts to build a prosperous future.
Seated on the Gulf of Guinea on the Atlantic Ocean are 9 states of the Niger Delta region. They account for close to 75% of Nigeria's exports, but still maintain high poverty index.
And it's a very important...
This platform is an avenue to take stock, regenerate and adopt public-private partnership as solution to fast-track, develop and further fund massive infrastructural intervention in the region.
In working with stakeholders, we have resolved to make our 2024 budget an all-inclusive one that accommodates the interests of all key players in the Niger Delta region.
And is expected to create a gateway of opportunities for foreign and local investors.
Between 2016 to 2022, Minister of the Niger Delta says 2,788 physical infrastructure projects were executed in the region, for which he has directed the new board of NDDC to draw up a compendium. This, he believes, is a starting point to building trust and transparency, a vital factor crucial to attracting investors.
We are open to dialogue and receptive to feedback from the private sector on ways to improve our policies and processes that would facilitate partnership and participation.
Other stakeholders signatory to the Niger Delta agenda stressed the need to expand partnership across board.
One area that is also missing is agric and agribusiness. NDDC should also look into that direction.
The budget cycle of NDDC should be in line with the normal budget cycle. So that we read in the paper that half year through the year, the budget has not been approved, and therefore you are spending money that is not quite clear, and you may thereafter require ratification.
Once the finances of the Commission are adjudged transparent and prudently managed, it will attract genuine partnerships locally and internationally.
Key players are optimistic that this platform, with the theme Rewind to Rebirth, building a sustainable future through public-private partnership for progress in the Niger Delta, is a statement of intent in the region's quest to make socio-economic status of the people reflects the volume of resources. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
And we're done from here, but do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. A break beckons now, and when we return, it's back to Ian Ray in Abuja.
Welcome back. The Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC, will hold its 5th awards ceremony on Wednesday, April 26, 2023. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Ease of Doing Business and PEBEC, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole, notes that the PEBEC Awards is created to recognize and honor ministries, departments and agencies, state governments and private sector stakeholders who have made significant contributions to the ease of doing business interventions. The ceremony will be held at the State House Conference Hall, Old Banquet Hall, Abuja, in 2 sessions. The first session on the PEBEC experience is scheduled to start at 4 p.m. It will feature engagement with PEBEC partners and will provide opportunities to learn about their various interventions aimed at improving the business environment in Nigeria. It will be followed by the awards ceremony and dinner from 6 p.m., where deserving awardees will be honored for their outstanding contributions to the efforts to improve ease of doing business in Nigeria. The awards will include the Executive Order A01 Award for the top 5 ministries, departments and agencies in the 2022 E01 compliance ranking, the Impact Awards to recognize the support of journalists, development partner institutions and individuals, the Judiciary Award, where special recognition awards will be given to states' judiciary which have distinguished themselves in the operations and performance of the small claims courts in their respective jurisdictions. Legislative awards for stakeholders who collaborated to implement legislative interventions, and the sub-national EODB ranking awards to honor states with the highest scores based on empirical data from micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in the 2021 and 2023 sub-national EODB ranking conducted by the PEBEC. Anambra State Governor. All right, let's join Benny now for more business news. Benny.
Thank you, Henry. And still talking business, stakeholders in the maritime space say exploring the Nigerian blue economy offers huge opportunities for economic growth and development, while noting that Nigeria's vastly underutilized economy can provide a platform for opportunities, but the potentials are being underutilized. Bashir Jamo, Director General of the NIMASA, says the fishery industry and wind energy is advantageous for job opportunities. The NIMASA boss described the non-realization of these opportunities as sea blindness, adding that the blue economy also affects the state of agriculture. And taking a look at the markets, European stocks closed lower as Hong Kong falls 2%, just as a total of 541.9 million shares in 6,440 deals corresponding to a market value of 5.5 billion naira were traded in the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And compared with previous trading day, Thursday, April 20th, today's data shows 10% decline in volume, but 49% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 28.1 trillion naira. Access Holdings recorded the highest volume of 217 million traded shares, followed by Transcorp Nigeria, 111 million, and Fidelity Bank, 30.7 million. Well, that is business news. Network news continues after this break.
Welcome back. A family of Nahuru from Uromi in Eastern Northeast local government area of Edo State has confirmed the death of foremost journalist and editor Peter Nahuru, popularly known by his pen name Peter Pan. He passed on Monday in London at 88. Agatha Egware Ojo reports.
For his columns in the New African magazine, as well as books and editorials using the name Peter Pan to hide his identity. He hails from Uromi, Eastern Northeast local government area of Edo State. The news of his death, as explained by his nephew, Ibaldo Nahuru, who is also an editor at the Nigerian Observer, came as a rude shock.
I've been bedridden for quite a while, and for the family, we were all praying that it would get to 90 years. But when the news came, it was a big blow. In fact, some delegation of the family, they've gone to London to begin to prepare the next, what should be done next.
For journalists in Edo State, veterans and practicing, his works made huge impact.
He influenced my becoming a journalist. You know, I used to read his articles in Daily Time. Nigeria will miss him because very few journalists like him are around.
For some of us who grew up in his era, would always remember him for was a little satirical book he wrote called You Gotta Cry to Laugh. And I wish anybody will Google and people will look for that, You Got to Cry to Laugh. It was his own satirical way of talking about Nigerians.
Late Peter Pan is the younger brother to the late foremost nationalist, Chief Anthony Nahuru. In Benin, Agatha Egwari Uju, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari extends heartfelt condolences to the family, friends and associates of Peter Nahuru, one of Nigeria's foremost journalists who died on Tuesday at the age of 88. The president believes that as a gifted and iconic journalist, author and publisher, Nahuru earned the public trust by his fearless writings, tenacity and commitment to the pursuit of truth. The president recognizes the passion of the former editor-in-chief and managing director of the Daily Times. Assistant Publicity Officer, Department, now Federal Ministry of Information, and pioneer chairman, Nigerian Broadcasting Commission for Public Service, was second to none, and he used his knowledge and mastery to mentor people who have also added value to journalism practice in the country. President Buhari urges those who mourn the demise of this compatriot to reflect on his contributions to the country and build on the many honors credited to him for journalistic excellence. Also, President Muhammadu Buhari and the First Lady Aisha Muhammadu Buhari mourn the passing away of Chief Olajide Oyewole, describing him as an exceptional lawyer and iconic corporate leader who made enormous contributions to business development in the country. In a message to the family of the deceased through the son-in-law, Wale Tinubu, the First family expressed sadness over the death of the notable corporate lawyer, founding chairman, investor and board member of several multinational companies, including DHL Nigeria, Buried Oil Services, Bolus Enterprises and King Carpets. President Muhammadu Buhari mourns the death of Major General Mohammed Said, retired, formerly of the Defense Intelligence Agency and one-time defense advisor in the Nigerian High Commission in London. In a message to the family of the deceased, President Buhari said the late military officer was brave and worked hard to make the country's army a respectable institution. He dedicated his to the discipline and pride of the country throughout his life. May Allah accept his deeds and grant fortitude to bear the loss. All right, that's Network News tonight, but just a quick reminder that Tuesday Live tonight will discuss the role of traditional rulers in a nation building, featuring the Ooni of Ife, Etsunupe, Emir of Zevzo, Izzy Eweka III, Emir of Lafia, and Egberi Emere Okori of Eleme Kingdom. Join us to listen to the wisdom of these custodians of our culture and heritage. Many thanks for being a part of Network News tonight. I'm Henry John. Do have a good night.